All right. Hello, hello, hello. All praises to the Most High. You guys, I'm sorry I have to use this dark camera here today for this message. But however, long as you guys can hear me, I think that'll be all right. Okay. We're looking at a biblical Torah today. Okay. Uh, some of this I may look up on my phone, and some of it we just gonna go accordingly with it because I got videos downloading, but we're gonna move forward. All praises, all praises, all praises. All right, we're gonna start out with a biblical tour today, and I think I'm gonna kind of line this up a little bit accordingly. All right. So we're gonna talk. Some of these I've already have talked about, but we're gonna go on anyway. We're gonna talk about the valley of Hebron. Okay, the valley of Hebron, and then we have captivity. Talking about that from Exodus. All right, and then we gonna talk about Sidon or Zidon. Okay, there's multiple books that talks about Sidon. Is Sidon or Zidon? All right, I think it's more Sidon in the Bible if I'm not mistaken. And then we're gonna talk about Babylon. All right, and we also gonna talk about the God of the children of Israel. All right, and we know that Baal and Ashtoreth, okay, is some of the gods of the children of Israel. Okay, so that's what we're going, you guys. All praises to the Most High. Hopefully, we can get a couple of more videos out, maybe sometime today. If anything, if nothing more, it'll be more of the biblical. I'm not putting out too much tarot right now, but I'm gonna go accordingly. Okay. All right, Father. So we have this set up. First, we like to look and see what is being said when it comes to the valley of Hebron. And so we're going to go on and look at that a little bit. How about that? Let's look at the valley of Hebron, okay? It talks about that in Genesis, all right? Genesis chapter 37 is where this is coming from. Genesis chapter 37, verse 14. We're going to see what that is saying about the valley of Hebron, okay? Genesis 37, 14. All right, let's see what is being said here. All right. It says here, we're going to read this NIV since that's the first one. Okay, it also talks about Israel. All right, it talks about Israel. And we know that somebody's name was changed to Israel, right? Okay. Okay. So verse 47 says, so he said to him, go and see if all is well with your brothers and with the flocks, and bring word back to me. Then he sent him off from the valley of Hebron. Okay? All right? So it must have been Joseph. Maybe Joseph was the one that was sent out. Okay? In this here. But we're not going to read any further. Many of you may already know about this. But let's look at what is being said about the valley of Hebron. So somebody was sent out to see if all was well with the brothers, all right? Okay. All right. We have the 6 of cups, all right? And that's amazing to see the 6 of cups because of simple fact reason. The 6 of cups can't talk about just that. Coming into connection with people that you know, all right? And not only that, it can talk about a reunion, okay? But the verse said that It says to go and see if all is well with your brothers and with his flock. So that Six of Cups is really kind of putting that out there, okay? It's kind of putting that really out there to be seen, okay? Now this here really talks about Joseph's dream, okay? And we know, and then we have captivity out here, right? So we know that Joseph, if I'm not mistaken, he's the one that had the dream and was telling his brother about the dream, right? And so the brothers, they felt so envy against him to the point where they sold him into slavery, right? Okay, so I'm really thinking that's what this all come from. And then it's no coincidence we got out here the God of who? The children of Israel. Okay. All right. So all of this lining up, and these are the cards Spirit gave me to come and do this here Biblical Torah today. All right. So, all right. So we have a Six of Cups here talking about the Valley of Hebron. And like I said, it really lines up with what the biblical verse is saying. So what more can you share with the Valley of Hebron? Again, I do apologize for this dark screen, you guys, but this phone acts up, okay? All right, then we got here the Seven of Pentacles, which is still in good alignment here, okay? Because, see, this Seven of Pentacles, it could talk about multiple things here because depending on how you are looking at it. Now we know that, like I said, we know what Joseph had to endure. But the Seven of Pentacles, it can talk about persevering. Okay, it talks about perseverance. It also can talk about a person that kind of labored. Okay, all right, somebody that plants seeds, wanting to build things. And when I see the Seven of Pentacles, it really can line up with just that Joseph dream. Okay, because Joseph, he had a big dream, right? Okay, and this Seven of Pentacles is really lining up with just that, Joseph's dream. Okay, all right, he was sent out to go and check on his brother and to see if all was well. All right, but he still had this big dream. All right, he kind of already, in a sense, planted the seeds when he started to speak about his dream. Right? Okay. So I think that's a beautiful thing. So we're not going to go anymore with the Valley of Hebron. It really lined up once you know the story. Okay. So let's talk about the captivity. Talk about the captivity in Exodus. Okay. I guess we'll go on to Exodus as well. Let's go to Exodus. All right. Exodus 12. All right. All praises to the Most High. Exodus 12. And we want to look at verse number 40. Okay. Now, Exodus 12, that talks about the Passover and the festivals of the unleavened bread. Okay. Now, the Passover, when I think about the Passover, I look at it just that, somebody being passed over. Okay. And then the festival of the unleavened bread. Okay. That's that unbalance. Okay. I really feel that's more so of that unbalance that we see a whole lot right now. And we have Babylon out here. There's a lot of unbalance in Babylon. All right. So let's read and see what Exodus 12 verse 40 says. All right. It says, now the length of time the Israelite peoples lived in Egypt was 430 years. Okay. At the end of the 430 years, to the very day, all the Lord's division left Egypt, because the Lord kept vigil that night to bring them out of Egypt. On this night, all the Israelites are to keep vigil to honor the Lord for the generations to come. All right. So that means once they came out of captivity, it was supposed to have been over with, right? People wasn't supposed to be no longer in any form of captivity. It says that they stayed in captivity for what? 430 years. All right. Probably why Spirit done put in my spirit so much to keep on pouring out and saying that, okay, the time has been exceeded. Okay. Time has really been exceeded. All right. So let's talk about this captivity here. Let's talk about the captivity. All praises to the Most High. Ooh. Wow. And that's just what I'm saying here. You got the Eight of Sword. Eight of Sword actually coming in the reverse. So that's right there is a confirmation what? Is no more time for people to be in any type of trap or feeling like they being held back. All right, feeling with frustration, anxiety. Okay, because see the time already been exceeded. All right, this card come in the reverse. All right, talking about captivity. Okay, people are no longer should be held bound. Okay, by anyone. All right, there it is. Nine of Cups. All right, people are supposed to have that goodness. All right, that happiness. Okay, vitality, optimism, joy. Okay, all right. So that right there lines in very well to me too, because see it says what they held the visual, right? So when they held that visual, they expected something to be of the good. All right, it should have been anyway because the time was up. All right, so if the time was up, I can see why this Nine of Cups is coming out now. Okay, that's confirmation. All right, now let's look at holy and unholy there. Talk about that in Leviticus. And we know what the holy and the unholy talk about, okay? Now, through this walk that I've had, I don't believe in holy or unholy, okay? Either it's something that's going to be the truth or something is just a lie, one or the other, okay? That's how I see holy and unholy. Either you're going to be in the upright or you're not going to be in the upright. You're going to either going to try to live a life to try to be more righteous or you're not going to try to be more righteous. All right? That's really how I see that, because I don't even feel that so-called holy Bible is a holy Bible. Okay? I don't see that. Especially with knowing and enduring the things that I've had to endure and who I've had to, and the ones that was doing those things to me. It really makes me know that Bible is not holy, okay? It's unholy in my opinion, okay? All praises to the Most High. So let's read this verse. It's real short, straight to the point, okay? Whenever my phone get there. Hold on, you guys. It's kind of lagging a little bit, but we're going to get there, okay? All praises to the Most High. Okay, now we're going to verse 10, all right? Leviticus 10, verse 10, all right? Leviticus 10, it says here, so that you can distinguish between the holy and the common, between the unclean and clean. All right, that's all that verse talks about. All right, when it comes to holy and unholy. Okay, it says so that you can distinguish. And I don't know what version this is. This the NIV version. It says so that you can distinguish. Okay, so everybody should be able to distinguish just what I said. So thank you, Most High. The way I just presented what I said. Okay, I have a right to distinguish how I see it. Okay, all right. So let's see what Spirit is saying when it comes to holy and unholy. All right, come from Leviticus chapter 10, verse 10. Okay, this card popped out. This is the Four Swords. All right. Maybe they're just talking about just that. Just laying it to rest. Laying this holy and unholy to rest. Because it's for you to distinguish. Okay. Whether it's something holy or whether something is common. All right. And then this card can also talk about contemplating, rejuvenate. All right. So I feel that um yeah, Four Swords is really no. It's like it's just what I said, just that plain point, and that's it. Okay, but what else can you share about this holy and unholy? Hold on, y'all, my car's falling. Hold on, you guys. Okay, back to the holy and unholy. All right, because we have the Four Swords. Okay, like I say, that talks about laying something to rest, rejuvenate. Okay, all right, and then we got wow, Three of Swords. It went from the Four Sword to the Three of Sword. Now that talks about betrayal. And really, that it's really no more to say after this card. So that's really just again confirming it's no such thing as holy or unholy. It's a betrayal, okay? To make people have self-pity, all right? To make people that's in religious or any type of leaders make you feel like, okay, you messed up, you did something wrong. You need having people going out trying to repent for things that really don't have no reason to repent for. Certain things, yeah, we do need to change. Repentance is only about changing, and it's nothing wrong with change. Change can be something good for somebody. Okay, repentance is not about nothing, has nothing to do with holy or unholy. It's about change. Okay, and for this Three of Swords to come out, that speaks volume. And we started with the Four of Swords, right? And here go the Ace of Swords right there. And that's all. And really, I think all my readings kind of put that holy and unholy, displayed it pretty much the same way. Okay, now moving on. All right, we're going to talk about the gods of the children of Israel. We know the children of Israel, they believed in Baal, okay, the Lord of the earth, okay, and Ashtaroth, okay, all right. And some spirit tell me Baal still lives, but Baal time is very, very limited, all right. Uh-huh. Let's talk about the children of Israel, please. I don't like the way that come out, Father. We're talking about the God of the children of Israel. I don't know how you want me to do this. You want me to do this together, do this split? How you want me to do this? Because there's two names on this card. Okay, we're just going to put it out there and see what spirit want to share. There go the Hierophant. I told you already what the God of the children of Israel is still in existence. And for this Hierophant to come out, that's only confirming. Because it said the Lord of the earth, right? Mm-hmm. Even though this Bible been here for 1611, okay, all right, uh, and everything that has been spoken upon the Bible, right? Okay, Lord of the earth, that is somebody still here, okay, with that holds this title, okay, but they've been in darkness, okay. They've been doing a lot of dark things, and they're not balancing out the light within their life, okay, all right. So Baal, even though I feel that Spirit has showed me who Baal is, this could be Ashtaroth right here. All right, no offense. Okay, although it is a hierophant. Okay, it's just the fact that the children of Israel, they serve man. All right. All praises to the Most High. So, anything else you want to share here? anything else you want to share here? All right, and there you go. I told you, the magician. They are into a lot of darkness. No offense. But the truth shall set you free, they say. And they know I'm telling the truth. Okay? A lot of darkness. And they're not balancing it out with the light. Okay? They're not using their authentic gifts. Okay? They're utilizing their gifts, but they're following the trail to do things to line in with the guidelines of Lucifer. Just to they say that spirit comes to what? Kill, steal, and destroy. And that's what they like doing. Fellowshipping with a lot of various gods and spirits, okay, to keep the agenda alive. But the agenda is over, all right, and they know it's over. That's why I feel that this here type of disturbance, okay, it had a deadline. And I feel that that time is getting very near, that we won't have to worry about a lot of the things that has been going on coming against, okay, certain peoples, okay? Let's talk about Zidon or Sidon, okay? They talk about this in Ezekiel, Isaac, First King, talks about it also in Matthew, Mark, and Acts, all right? Now, Sidon, let's see what Sidon, I think it was kind of like a country or something, or a city. Let's see what they're saying about Sidon. Let's just look at that overall in general. But if you want to go to the biblical and look up some things, you're welcome to. Okay. Let's see what's going on in Zidon or Sidon, however they talk about this. Okay. This here is, okay. Okay. This is an individual. Okay. Canaan was the father of Sidon, his firstborn. So this was an individual, okay? This is an individual. Talks about it. Then I say Genesis. Okay, also talks about it in Genesis. Okay. No, it's both. It's an individual and it's also like a area as well. It's two things for this Sidon. Okay, because in Genesis 19 it says Canaan reach from Sidon towards Gerar as far as Gaza. Okay, and then they go on down and talk about it. It said Harmon is called Syrian, okay, by the Sidonites. Okay, so it's also not only that, it's connected with a tribe as well. Okay, and then it go on talks about that in Joshua. I'm trying to see Judges. It talks a lot about it in Judges, 2 Samuel. Here goes something in First King. Now the First King, this the one I got wrote down. It says, "Go at once to Zarephath in the region of Sidon and stay there. I have directed a widow there to supply you with food." So, okay, this person is kind of like doing the same thing that was it Joseph? Joseph had to go somewhere. He had to go and check on the brothers, right? Okay, to see if all is well. So if you look at 1 Kings 17:9, he had to go somewhere. He was guided to go somewhere and stay with someone, okay, for a while, right? Okay. And then we see here, it talks about it in other areas as well. Okay, so let's see what Spirit is showing us about Sidon. Okay, so like I said, it's multiple things connected to that. But what are you saying about this here, Spirit? All right, we have the Eight of Wands. Now, that Eight of Wands, that talks about communication. It could talk about travel, and we just said that, right? This person had to travel to go and stay with somebody, right? Okay, and so that this Eight of Wands is really lining up with what I just read already from 1 Kings 17:9. Okay, anything else you want to share about sighting? Okay, we have here a King of Cups coming out here. Okay, now King of Cups could have been the actual individual that was talking to this person, or this King of Cups could have been played another part with one of these other verses. Okay, so Spirit, let's clarify on the King of Cups. All right, King of Cups could be sighting. Okay, all right, and a lot of these souls live on. Okay, just like I know Baal and Astra is still in the land. Who to say Sidon ain't here? Who to say Joseph ain't here? Who to say Susanna is not here? Who to say Mary is not here? Who not to say certain individuals are not here, that their soul was able to come back? Okay, all right. So let's get a clarifier here on King of Cups. All right, there we got Nine of Wands. Now this Nine of Wands, that talks about support. That talks about boundaries, talks about strength, talks about persevering. Okay, somebody going through something for a long time. Something went on. Whatever it was something ongoing for a long time. So let's see if we can, if anything will glance my awareness here. I don't want to go too deep into a lot of this. Let's go to let's look at Ezekiel, or either Isaac. Let's just look at Ezekiel. All right, let's look at Ezekiel. We only got one more card to go, and we are less than 30 minutes. So let's look at Ezekiel. Ezekiel. All right, chapter 28. Ezekiel chapter 28. Let's look at that. All right. Now this talks about a prophecy, okay, against what? The king of Tyre. So that could be the king of Tyre coming up as this king of cups. There was a prophecy against this king of Tyre, all right? So that could even go that way. So, but let's go on down. Let's look at verse 20, please. Let's go to verse 20. Okay, and now this here is a prophecy against what? Sidon. So that could, like I said, that could have, this king could easily been just that. Sidon. Is it Sidon? Zidon? Sidon? Okay, this king of cups could be Sidon. All right, we already seen about the travel, right? We read about that from 1 Kings 17:9. Okay, and that 8 of Wands lined it in with that. Okay, now, and it also talks about that communication, some communication going on or went on. Okay, so verse 20. All right, it says, the word of the Lord came to me, son of man. Set your face against Sidon, prophecy against her, and say this is what the sovereign Lord says. So somebody kind of talked against something, okay? It says son of man, right? Son of man. And we already spoke on that when we were talking about what? God of the children of Israel. So it says, set your face against Sidon's prophecy against her. Okay. So Sidon could have been, because see, look how many ways they got Sidon, y'all. Now we done saw it as maybe a particular city. We done seen it as a person. At first it said he was the son of somebody, right? But reading just that right there, it seems like it's saying now it's a feminine. Y'all see the contradiction? Just that little bit of time. But let's go on and see here. All right. It says, this is what the sovereign Lord says. It says, I am against you, Sidon, and among you I will displace my glory. You will know that I am the Lord when I inflict punishment on you. So apparently somebody didn't like what somebody said. And because somebody didn't like what somebody said, they came back and retaliated. Okay? And that's really what went on right there. Okay? Somebody disliked what was said, and they felt they had the authority to retaliate. Okay? All right? It says, when I inflict punishment on you and within you and prove to be holy. Back to the what? Holy and unholy. See, somebody is so stuck into their biblical ways that they if they don't like what certain people say, okay, even though many of us have free will, many of us are no longer in no type of captivity. We are able to live our life, speak our minds, with the laws, okay, that was put upon this earth from the forefathers. Our people should be is now able to do as such. All right, we have a right to religion. We have a right to certain things, and if the Most High put prophets and prophecies out here, they have the right to speak what's been told to them. It's not like these coming from their gods. That's the problem. The prophecies didn't come from their God. The prophecies that were spoken came from a higher God, and that's why the problem came. All right. And it says, I will send a plague upon you and make blood flow in your streets, and slain will fall within you with the sword against you on every side. Then you will know what? That I am the Lord. Kind of like they want you to bow down to them. No. No. Ending up with verse 24 says, no longer will the people of Israel have malice neighbors. Look at that. Who are painful brows and sharp thorns. See that? It says, then they will know that I am the sovereign Lord. So somebody in a particular area thought just that they were just above the Most High. That not only above the Most High, they felt that since somebody came and prophesied what the Most High gave them, all right, it was a problem. Y'all see this? Okay. And that's why I feel now that's why the 9 of Wands is here. Okay. Because something was spoken, but they didn't like what was spoken, what was prophesied. All right. All praises to the Most High. Final one, let's talk about Babylon. Okay, you have the 3 of Wands coming out there. 3 of Wands, that talks about somebody it could talk about multiple things, but something said get one more first, and then we want to look at these short verses. Okay, 10 of Wands. So you got the 3 of Wands and the 10 of Wands there. All right, now the 3 of Wands, they could talk about adventure, okay? It could talk about actions. It could talk about somebody ready to move forward with something, okay? And also can talk about foresight. It can talk about, but the 10 of Wands, it can talk about burdens, demands, overload, stress, carrying the burdens of others, all that, okay? So let's look at 2 King real quick, please. Second King. Let's go to 2 King chapter 17. Well, it talks about it 17 through 35. So we're just going to go through some highlights. Okay. All right. So now we done went to the last king of Israel. What's that? Hoshea? Hoshea? Okay, that's the last king of Israel. And then it talks about Israel exile because of sin. And then it went on and go on and talk about other things. But you look at 2 King 18, it talks about Hezekiah, the king of Judah. Okay. All this here is lining in with what Babylon, some way, shape, or form. Okay, all this coming in some way, shape, or form. And you go into 2 King chapter 19, that when it talks about Jerusalem. Okay, all right. Go into talking about Jerusalem. Then it goes into talking about Hezekiah prayer. Okay, and then it went into Isaiah prophecies. Okay. All right, that something was going to fall. All right. And then I'm just glancing, y'all. And then it went to Hezekiah illness. All right. And then the envoy from Babylon. Okay. And then you go over to chapter 21. Okay. I'm not going to stay on this long. And then we go into now Manasseh. Okay, now he the king of Judah. Okay, all right. Then Ammon, the king of Judah. Okay, y'all seeing all this here going on. Then you talk about the book of the law is found. So it was a book found. A book of the law is found. All right. And we already was talking about inciting, right? Somebody didn't like the prophecy that they heard, so they wanted to retaliate, right? So I really would like to read some of this right here because I'm kind of feeling that they could have found out either something about this holy and unholy, or they could have found out something about this siding, or they could have found out something about the captivity because they say the book of the law is found. Okay? Because, see, a lot of laws was broken here. So I'm going to go on, but I'll make sure I come back and read this for myself. Okay? But the book of the law is found. All right? In Babylon somewhere. Okay? But I know they probably didn't put it in here. Let's read this right here. It caught my eye. It says, when the king heard the words of the book of the law, he tore his robes. He tore his robe because he found out a lot of things. Okay, was being misinterpreted. Things were done that should not have done. There's no other reason for nobody to tear their robe if the truth was not spoken. I'm going to leave it right there. Okay? So I'm going to make sure I come back and read 2 King chapter 22. That's probably why I be seeing 222 a lot. 2 King chapter 22 talks about the book of the law was found. Okay? Now, let's go on 2 King book 24, chapter 24. We're just going through this here. Okay? We're just going through this here. Then it talks about Josiah renews the covenant. Okay? Probably now things are being renewed because of what? Because now a lot of truth, okay, after they found the book of the law, a lot of truths was able to come out. Whether they already found the book of the law or it will be soon to come, they're going to find that what? Book of the law. Okay? So now they renewed the covenant. Okay, Joshua did. Okay, and that's all that went on. And okay, and then we got Jehoash. Now he the king. Okay, how many kings has Joseph now? Judah had, huh? Here go another king of Judah. Oh wait, and then here go another one. Jehoiakim, king of Judah. Jehoahaz, king of Judah. So that let me know right now, a lot of this stuff is still at play with Judah. All right, that's really what this only telling me. And then you go, and Lord have mercy. And then here go another. Judah and I had so many kings. I gotta add my father. And then here go another king of Judah. I gotta add my father. Why Judah needed so many kings? Okay, but this here is with Babylon. So what's the overall you wanted us to know about Babylon here? Okay, we looked at a little stuff from Second King. I really didn't see anything to really, unless, oh yeah, it could be from what they did. That's what, because of them misusing the laws, breaking spiritual rules. Okay, somebody had to endure this 10 of wands. While they kind of watched and observed things. Okay, all right, yeah. That's what I'm more so picking up off of that. So let's look real quick at Second King, y'all. Second Chronicles. I'm not going to go through it as deep like I just did with Second King, because I went from 17 to 25. Well, it ain't many with Second Chronicles, though. All right, Second Chronicles 32. Okay, we're going to start with book 32. Let's see what that's talking about. We're still talking about Babylon, okay? All right, Second King 32. All right, and Second Chronicles 32, 32 through 36. Those are the those are the chapters that line in with something here. And then here you go. I ain't gonna try to pronounce this name, but they threatened Jerusalem. All right, somebody's threatened Jerusalem. Now Hezekiah pride, success, and his death. So Hezekiah had a lot of pride. He had a lot of success, and maybe he also passed. All right, and I already was telling you about the yeah. I'm gonna leave it there because yeah, Hezekiah. All right, now let's look at 33. It's only a few of them. And then now they back at Manasseh, the king of Judah. So we talked about Manasseh, the king of Judah, also in Second King, right? Okay, Manasseh, king of Judah. All right, Ammon. Now, Ammon is a king of Judah. Here go more kings of Judah. I got to really find out why Judah needed so many kings. And then we got Jehoiakim, Joshua, reforms. Okay, all right. And then it went back, going back now. Here it go. Y'all, we just talked about this in what? Second King. How about they also talking about the book of the law found? All right. They talking about that same book that was found. So we need, that's in Second Chronicles 35. I don't know which one in Second King, but between Second King chapter 17 and 25, it also talked about the book of the law that was found. They talking about the same book of the law that was found also in Second Chronicles 34. All right. Same book of the law that was found. Now, chapter 35 talks about Joshua celebrates the Passover. Okay. All right. And when I see the Passover, religion like to look at it, okay, as being like Passover or something, but my spirit tell me this individual right here, this really been the Passover right here. Okay? This been the Passover right here. This individual. Okay? And then you got here the death of Joshua. Okay? All right. And then we got here, that was the last one. Talked about, no, here go one more. And now here go, it talks again about Jehoiakim, king of Judah. So it's a lot of, and then it went back to the other person, king of Judah. Okay, and then it started back repetitively, right all over again, talking about those same individuals that was kings of Judah from Second King. So again, only confirming what I say, how repetitive this book really is. And then it also talks about the fall of Jerusalem. All right, and the fall of Jerusalem. There you go, right there. Okay. So, first off, I want to know what is the overall final here now with Babylon. What is it final that you want us to really see here with Babylon? That's a lot fell out. Let's see. I didn't see them. They was face down. What is the final with Babylon? Spirit say go back. Pick it up. The emperor. We got the emperor there. That's the overall. And when you think about all those kings, maybe this emperor was a real higher up in something here, okay? Because this emperor, that's like a father figure. They are somebody that's into law and order, okay? Also, emperor can be into war and strife, okay? So so overall, that is a good significance knowing what all we just kind of ran through. I think that Emperor is a good card to come out right there to kind of sum up with what we was talking about here for Babylon. Okay, all right. So in closing, what is the real reason Judah needed so many kings? Why did Judah have so many kings? Some about power, inspiration. This is the Ace of Wands. Let's see. It's more we could say. It's another reason, but we got the Ace of Wands, and really, that's a good card too. Maybe a lot of people just want to be empowered. Okay, they want to have some type of authority. Okay, or felt a need for something here. But let's see what else. It signifies only thing I see to add to really make it make some sense to me, maybe bold actions and enthusiasm, potential and opportunity, individual power and fulfillment. So I believe that's why Judah really needed to find that book of law, because it seemed like Judah had a lot of things out of order. A lot of things were out of order. All right. So, all in all, this was today's Biblical Torah. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I always do. Kind of give you another perspective of how to look at certain things or what to think. But I'm very thankful. A lot of these cards really was right on target, okay, with what some of the readings were actually saying on today, okay. So yeah, we're going to leave it there. Anything in closing for today's Biblical Torah. Thank you, Father. All right, we got the lovers. All right, we got the lovers here. All right, so this is closing something here when it comes to the lovers. Now, this could talks about love, harmony, union. Okay, I don't know what I'm feeling here, but I'm more so picking up that with a change, because see, when we already said, we already talked about the God of the children of Israel, right? And we see all these unlawful things here. So I'm more so picking up with this card, okay? I'm picking up balance more than anything, because right now with this reading, as we know, a lot of things were out of balance, out of order, okay? A lot of spiritual laws was broken, okay? All right? People did a lot of things out of spite for selfish reason, okay? Only because due to a lot of this false teaching. It says holy and unholy, when the Most High is not even in agreement with that. But however, this was the way of the God of the earth. All right? The God of the earth. All right? They did a lot of things, okay, that was not right. Okay? So Most High, we have the lovers here. So Father, what else would you like to add here? And we're going to close it out. Wow. Ace of Cups. That's bringing more love into situations. All right. New beginnings for peoples. Okay. All right. Maybe now they won't no longer violate peoples. Okay. And it'll be I'm hearing less spiritual warfare. This talks about love again, relationships, okay? Because see, nobody was out doing that to hurt anyone, but it was just because of the prophecies, okay? The prophecy is what the prophecy that was heard. It wasn't a prophecy of the God of the earth. All right. I did a video because the 400 years of silence is over. Okay. I don't know if anybody even really ever thought about that, but the 400 years of silence is over. Okay. And that was the last time that the Most High really spoke to the people, even though the Bible say God, right? Okay. But it really now make me really feel like Malachi. I think it was Malachi. Malachi really got his prophecies from the Most High. He didn't get his prophecies from the God of the earth. Okay. And so a lot of the things that that's why my readings are so different. Okay. My readings are so different to the point where a lot of the other tarot readers, had at some point was kind of staying in alignment with some of my readings until Spirit just really opened me up a little bit more. Okay, all right, when it came to a lot of the Biblical Torah. Okay, and not only that, my readings was a little bit more detailed, okay, of certain events. Not that I'm doing it on my own. I can't. I feel like if you have a gift, you should be able to utilize your gift. All right, and the sad part about it, you're saying you're speaking on the cards, right? This is an emperor. Don't say I know this imp. I'm going by the card. This here is a magician. It don't mean that I know the witches and the warlocks or, the ones that may utilize this. And even this can be an individual. It can be for a good or a bad. All right? Either somebody utilizing the gifts that the Most High give them or utilizing the gift that they earthly God gave them or however. But a lot of the gifts I feel that the earthly gods are using, they're utilizing them from a book. Because I did a lot of reading where book came out. All right. So I don't want to go too deep. But sooner or later, if they haven't already, if it's written, I feel that they will eventually find that book of laws. And they'll really see that the Most High people have a right. And the unfairness and the way the many have some, I can't speak for everybody. Everybody have to carry their own cross. I saw 555. And I'm not trying to get into no lane to try to portray that I'm anything less than or more than what I am. Okay? All right? And there's the world card. And there go the justice. All I can say is all praises to the Most High. Talk to you later.